Hello everyone, this is GL from GL Tech School. In this video I'm going to explain functions in Python. Function is nothing but it is a piece of code, or in other words it's a chunk of code which can be called and executed in a program. So I'm going to explain what is functions with a simple example. So let's see, it is a YouTube, okay, it is a YouTube channel. When you play a video in YouTube, there's a button called play, okay, it is the play button. Just imagine this play button will be connected or will be joined, or this play button will be connected or joined or responsible for one function, which this function contains all of the source code or all of the steps in order to play the video. So when you click this play button, this function will be automatically executed because this function has been linked to this button. So that is the reason you want to understand what is function. Function is nothing but it is a chunk of code, okay. Just imagine function as this block, okay. You have lots of code in it, or the function has certain purpose. For this example, this function has only one purpose: to play the video. Like that, you can write function for anything, such as joining two numbers, or joining two names, or doing some math, or playing a video, or doing whatever you want, or sending an email to someone, okay. And you can call this function whenever you want in your program. For example, it is your source code. The main source code is this, okay. Just imagine this is your source file, this is your py file, program.py file, okay. In your py file you have written a lot of codes, so you want the play functionality in your source code. So you can call this function, okay. You can call this function and this function will be automatically invoked. So whenever you need it again once more, you don't need to repeat the entire code inside this function, okay. You can just call the function again and it will be invoked. So the basic idea of function is to reduce the amount of code that you write. For example, if you want to play video 2 times in your code, you need to write this same code over and over again 2 times in your source code. In order to reduce the amount of code that you write, the Python and other programming languages uses function, because if you use function you don't need to write the code over and over again, you just need to call it. Like I said before, the playing button has a function. Everything has a function. For example, when I click this, it will be minimized. It has a certain function. So that is the basic idea of function. So I'm going to explain in a code way, okay. I'm going to write some code to explain what is function is. So I'm going to type def. This is the keyword you need to make a function. I'm going to create a function called function underscore 1. Then I'm going to say hello, this is the function. I can be executed, or I can be executed, okay. I don't need to put semicolon in Python, so that is another advantage of Python. There's no semicolon, okay. So if you execute this code, so I'm going to execute this code, program.py, and you can see nothing happens. The reason, like I said before, it is a piece of code. Function is nothing but it is a piece of code. Whenever you need this function, you need to call it, okay. You have to call it. In order to call the function, you have to type function underscore like this. So now if you execute the program, it is going to print out, hello, this is a function I can be executed. So as many as times you want. For example, if you want to execute this code 5 times, you can run it, okay. And this time it is going to print 5 times, but you have to listen carefully, okay. In this function, within this function, I have only written a one line of code which prints a text to the console. But in real world we will write a bunch of code. Okay, basically you are writing a small function which is going to add two numbers together, so you need to add a bunch of code here, and whenever you need the functionality you can call it. So if you don't have these function abilities or function features in any programming language, what you need to do, you have to write this code over and over again to the screen. Okay, but in order to make the code much less or in a low sort, the function has been introduced. There are a variety of reasons why function is useful. You will learn as soon as you get started with computer programming, so don't worry about that. Okay, and the basic idea of function is like that. Okay, and it is okay for this line of code, so it is just printing. So writing this code many times is okay. Okay, but when it comes to many codes, such as for example you want to send email, so you write a bunch of code like this. So repeating this code, or you want to send 2 times email, so repeating this code 2 times will be pain and it will be useless. So instead of repeating this code 2 times, what we need to do, we can just call the function. So always remember one thing: if you don't call the function, the source code within this function will not be executed. For example, you can see that it will be executed, but if you don't call the function, it won't be executed. But in Python, another important thing you need to remember, that you can't call the function before you declare it. If you call the function above, it won't work. Okay, it says function is not defined. But in C and other programming languages such as Java and C#, you can call the function before you declared, because when the interpreter work, it's going to put all of the function in the first. So that's another subject you need to you don't need to concern on that area, such as Java and C#, so don't worry about that. So this is the basic of the things. So I'm going to explain what is function once again. So function is nothing but it is a piece of code, it is a chunk of code. Like I saw in an example, when you click this play button, there's a function is connected to it or linked to it. When you click this play button, this function will be automatically invoked. That function has all of the definition and source code, which has the ability to play the video of YouTube. So that is an example of functions. Like that, in your source code you can use your function how many times you want. Like I said before, this is the example. For example, if you want to call this function many times, you can use it. Or the another example I have already showed you, for example for loop. Okay, it is just for it is a bonus, so don't confuse with it. So this for loop is going to run 10 times. So if you call the function inside this for loop, what is going to happen? The function is going to be called 10 times. So this is what programming is. So I have taught you so many things in Python, so you need to learn how to interconnect all of them. So I interconnect for loop with function. Like that, you have to know how to interconnect other piece of code we have learned already with the things we are learning. So that is what programming is. So when you write multiple codes, when you write codes for your project, that is the things you're going to do. Okay, you're going to interconnect it, you're going to connect everything, the code, and going to create a illumination, or in other words, you're going to create an idea. So that is what programming is. And thank you very much for watching this video, guys, and I hope you have understood what is function in an effective ways. I'm going to explain more about function in the next video.